Welcome everyone. In today's video, I just wanted to do a DeFi ecosystem guide for zkSync, how to get started and some of the major dApps that are there right now. So if you're not familiar with zkSync, it's a layer 2 for Ethereum and they recently pushed out an update. So they have zkSync 2.0 that is out right now. So that is a zk EVM. And basically that just allows people to port over dApps from mainnet Ethereum and optimistic rollups to zkSync without much tinkering on the back end. So it does have some advantages compared to optimistic rollups. So if we go to the docs here and we just scroll up, so compared to Arbitrum and Optimism, they promise higher security, higher capital efficiency, and that's to do with the fact that you can do withdrawals much faster on zkSync, as well as better user experience for NFTs and cheaper transaction costs. Now, whilst they will say all of these things, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because if we look at the fees here, it's actually cheaper to use Arbitrum on Optimism right now. So those things are goals for the longer term. So if you want to get started with zkSync, you're going to need a wallet. Now, obviously you can use MetaMask, but there are some other excellent wallets out there that you can use as well. So Rabby, I've heard a lot of good things about, and Argent, which I've used quite a bit as well. So Argent is particularly good if you want to do stuff on your mobile and you're more of a mobile person, you want to do swaps and yield farming on your phone, then definitely I think Argent might be the way to go if you want to start using zkSync. Now here's an important tool if you want to start using zkSync as well, and this is the Block Explorer. You can type in your address, different contracts, so on and so forth, and just take a look around. It's similar to the block explorers that you see for basically every other blockchain out there. I will also leave links to everything I mentioned in the video in the description down below. Now, when it comes to bridging, you can use the official zkSync bridge at bridge.zksync.io. Now, you can use this one if you want, and it's good, but it take a little bit longer than using other bridges, which I'll talk about in a second. So if we just do this, for example, I'll try and deposit 0.1 ETH into zkSync Era mainnet. And if we look here, it will cost me $4.77 in gas fees to do so. If I'll press reject here, and if I go to Orbiter Finance, so basically this is a bridge aggregator. It will take you from almost every layer 2 out there to whatever other layer 2 you want to go to. So this is something that you want to pay attention to. You want to pick zkSync Era and not zkSync Lite. So there are two versions of zkSync. zkSync Lite, this is the first version that came out that had limited functionality. I mean, you still had some dApps that you could use, but you were really limited to what could actually be deployed. But with zkSync Era, this is the zk EVM that I mentioned earlier on. This is the one that you're going to want to bridge to. So now that I've bridged over to zkSync, it's time to start showing you some stuff that you can actually do here. Now, of course, you can check the zkSync ecosystem page. If you go to Live on Era, you can see all of the different dApps that are available to use right now, ranging from different DEXs, perpetual futures DEXs, lending and borrowing, bridges, different wallets, that sort of thing. You can also go to DeFi Llama, click zkSync Era, and then you can see all the dApps that are live right now that you can go ahead and start using. But the ones I'll be speaking about today are the main ones that are in use and the ones that I think that are most worth your time actually using. So the first one is SyncSwap. So this is the premier DEX on zkSync right now. So if we go to trade, this is your basic DEX that you've seen, like SushiSwap, Uniswap, or Jupiter Aggregator on Solana. So I'll just do a trade for you right now. So I'll swap USDC into ETH, but before that, I'm going to need to just permit them to use my USDC. So we'll just do 20, press next, and then approve. I've gotten more ETH, which is nice. So in terms of the tokens that you can actually trade on SyncSwap right now, you don't have a lot. So obviously USDC, ETH, USDT, BUSD, you have Keems, which is a meme token, wrapped BTC, various different stable coins, Frax, and if you look here, just meme coins for the most part, so like Pepe and zk Doge. One thing that I would pay attention to is these Matic, BNB, and Avalanche tokens. Very often, they can actually be undervalued to the actual value of like Matic, BNB, or Avalanche. And a lot of times people don't pay attention to this. And if you do, there are arbitrage opportunities there. So this is the main DEX that I wanted to take a look at today. So of course, you can obviously go to the pools, add liquidity and so on and so forth if you want to do that. And obviously you'll be able to earn some yield for doing so. Now, the first perpetual futures DEX that I want to take a look at on zkSync is Satori Finance. This is the one that has currently the most volume going through it. So right now you can trade ETH and Bitcoin perpetual futures, and you have the basic sort of features that you would typically have for a perpetual futures DEX. So you can go long, short. You also have market and limit orders here as well. And as I said before, because it's new, you're not going to have stuff like stop limit orders and some other sort of like UI customization things. But it looks pretty good, and I look forward to using it in the future. The next perpetual futures DEX I want to talk about is on-chain trade. So this format should be familiar to you. This is basically just a GMX fork. So if you're familiar with how GMX works, you'll be familiar with how on-chain trade works. So you can go long or short. You can also do it on margin. You also have ETH and Bitcoin as markets to trade on on-chain trade. And then they have their own version of the GLP index. So you can provide liquidity here and then earn a return for doing so. So that's on-chain trade. Now onto lending and borrowing. So the first project here I wanted to talk about is Xbank. So if you're familiar with like Aave or Compound, then you're going to be familiar with Xbank Finance. So you're able to deposit assets into Xbank Finance and then borrow against it. Right now you only have Ethereum and USDC, because there aren't that many assets that you would want to lend or borrow against. And also borrow against it right now with the APY being negative. So you're actually getting paid to borrow currently. And so you see here we have the ESXB/day. So you're actually getting Xbank tokens for borrowing out of Xbank. So I actually just checked their documents here and I pressed on the ESXB token. So the ESXB token represents an IOU that can be later converted to Xbank's governance token, and it possesses two key utilities. One is that you can convert it to Xbank's governance token. So they're going to take a snapshot on the 30th of September 2023. Based on the statistics at the time of the snapshot, they will determine the total allocations to the users, and governance tokens will be allocated on a pro rata basis on the ESXB tokens held by the user. So basically, the more borrowing you do, the more tokens that you'll receive, the more ESXB tokens you'll receive, and then you'll be able to convert that to Xbank's governance token in Q3 of 2023. So this is an opportunity that you could potentially take and make some money off of. Now, the second lending and borrowing protocol I wanted to talk about is Reactor Fusion. Now, it has a lot more supplying and borrowing going on here. So 13 million supply, 8 million in the borrow. So again, just ETH and USDC that you can deposit here, and you're getting better supply APRs here on your ETH and USDC. So if you're just in it to get yield on ETH or USDC, it's probably better to go to Reactor Fusion than it is to Xbank. The last protocol I wanted to take a look at today is an options protocol. So this is Zoma. So Zoma is basically an on-chain deribit. So we've seen other options protocol out there basically just being decentralized options vaults where you can sell options and get yield that way. But here you're able to buy and sell options. So I'm not much of an options trader myself, but if you are, then this is definitely a place to go ahead and take a look. And from my understanding, it doesn't have a token. So if you are into options trading, then try this place out. I think it might benefit you in the future. So that was just a quick guide to get started on zkSync. Now, there are more stuff coming in the future. Like as I said before, zkSync is new. People haven't quite deployed their contracts over. They're working out bugs and different sort of kinks and that sort of thing. But we'll be seeing Balancer, 1inch, SushiSwap, Wire Finance, Alchemix, and Uniswap, to name some of the big crypto dApps that you know on Ethereum Layer 1 or some of the other rollups out there. And in terms of things that I'm really excited for, there are going to be a lot more perpetual futures DEXs coming to zkSync. I know, for example, Zigzag will probably go live on Error at some point. I quite enjoy using that DEX. And one project that I'm really looking forward to, if I just scroll down here, is PrePO. So Basically, pre-PO is going to let you go long or short any pre-public asset. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.